Hey guys, welcome back to Core No More. And today we'll be looking into one of the concepts related to Core Java, which is kind of overlooked and not given much importance. But this concept was introduced to help developers. So let's understand this and let's give it an opportunity to help us. So what we'll be looking today is about Verag's method. Varargs stands for variable arguments, and Varargs method is nothing but a method which can take variable number of arguments. It is as simple as that. But before going into the actual implementation of this concept, let's first understand why there was a need for such a concept to be introduced in core Java. What was the triggering point for this concept? So to understand the why part, I have taken a use case related to the current pandemic situation. Let's say that you are a developer and one of your client came to you and asked you to provide a functionality which would provide the details of all the corona cases of a particular city. So you got the requirement, you understood the requirement, and you started developing the solution. And this is what you came up with. So what you have done is you have defined a method called list corona cases, which is accepting one argument called city of data type string. Depending upon whatever city we pass in, it is providing the details of corona cases of that particular city. Do not go much into the detail of the implementation of this method. In actual real life scenario, you would be either hitting an API or querying a database to get the actual details. But for the sake of this demo purpose, let's say that this is how you have implemented this method. And in the main method, what you have done is you have created an object of that class. And by using that object reference, you're calling that method by passing the city name according to your requirement. So let's check whether this is working or not. Let me compile this code first. And compilation, let's see whether it is successful or not. And yeah, compilation is successful. Let me run the code and boom, we are getting the output. We are able to get the number of corona cases in Mumbai. So you have shown this code to your client, the client is happy, and after his approval you have deployed this code into production. Now let's say after some days the same client came to you and asked you to provide a functionality which would provide the details of corona cases of two cities. Okay, so earlier the requirement was for one city, now the requirement is for two cities. So you got the requirement, you understood the requirement, and you started doing the code changes. And this is what you came up with. Working sample change.java. And what you have done is you have used one more method with the same name but different number of arguments. That means you have used the concept of overloaded methods here. Methods with the same name but different number of arguments. Okay. Here list corona cases is accepting only one argument. Here list corona cases is accepting two arguments, city 1 and city 2. And in the main method you have created an object, and by using that object reference you are calling those methods by passing those city names. Okay, so let's check whether this is working or not. Working sample change.java, and compilation is successful. Great. Let's run the code, and excellent, you are able to get the output from both the methods. So again you have shown this code to your client, client is happy, again you have deployed it into production. Now let's say after some days, and I think by this time you have guessed it right, the client came to you and asked you to provide one more functionality which would provide the details of corona cases of three cities. So earlier the requirement was for one city, two cities, and now the requirement is for three cities. So again you went back to your code base, started doing the code changes, and you came up with this change. So again you have used the concept of overloaded methods. You have defined a method with the same name, and the new method is accepting three arguments here. Okay, and in the main method as usual you created an object and calling those methods by passing those many cities. So let's compile this code. I don't see any problem in compilation of this code. So let's verify whether the compilation is successful or not. Compilation is successful. Let's run this code. uh, Working sample change again, and excellent, you are able to get the output for one city, two cities, and three cities. Now, the changes become so often that you as a developer are more afraid of doing these code changes than the actual coronavirus. That's the situation where the client has put you in. So you thought this is not good. This is not a smart solution. Whatever solution you have provided, it's not smart. It should be dynamic. But current solution is not a dynamic solution. According to the user preference, whatever cities the user sends to your solution should automatically detect those cities and provide the details of corona cases of all those cities. But this is not how your current solution is working. So you just thought that you need to analyze the problem. So you sat down one particular day, you saw the code which is running in production, and you came up with something like this. Let me clear the screen, and you came up with this solution. So what you have done here is you have used a method called list corona cases, and here instead of passing one argument, two argument, or three arguments, you have used an array of string data type, and you named that array as cities. Now whatever cities are present in this array, for all those cities your functionality would provide the details of corona cases for all those cities. Okay, and in the main method what you have done is you have declared an string array of name cities, and whatever cities you get it, you can get these cities either from a UI or an API or from command line. Whatever cities you get, you have added those cities into this array by using indexes, and you're passing this entire cities array to this method by calling with the help of object reference. Okay, and whatever cities are there in this array, your functionality will return the details of corona cases of all those cities. Okay, this seems good. Let's compile this code, propose solution.java, and compilation is successful. Excellent. Let's run this code, and excellent. You are able to get the output dynamically. Whatever cities are present in the cities array, you are able to get the corona cases details of all those cities. So this is great. Your client is happy with this dynamic solution, and you have deployed this code into production. Now let's say the client came to you one fine day and asked you for one more requirement. Now understand the requirement here. The client is saying, hey Raju, it's great that you have provided me the details of corona cases based on the cities which I pass in. So you have provided me dynamic solution. That's great. But now my requirement is that you need to provide me a functionality which would provide me the details of corona cases of the entire country. Now, when we talk about entire country, we are not talking about this cities factor anymore. Why? Because we are not talking about any one particular city or any certain number of cities. So when we talk about the entire country, the way you would call this method list corona cases would be something like this. The way you would call is you would use the object reference object dot list corona cases, and you would not pass any arguments because we are not dealing with any one particular city or any certain number of cities. We are dealing with the entire country. So if you call this method in this way, what do you think what would be the problem? What would be the output in this particular solution? Any guesses? Let me save this code and let's try to compile it. Let me clear the screen. Let me show you the change which we have made. We are trying to call this method without passing any arguments using the object reference. Okay, let me compile this code, and guys, we are getting a compile time error here. Forget about all the dynamic solution and smart solution. You are back to square one. Forget about square one. You are back to square zero. Your functionality is not providing details even for one single city. So what happened here? The problem is we have defined the method which is expecting to pass a array of string, but what we are passing? Nothing. And that's what the compiler is complaining. It is saying, hey developer, this method list corona cases which is present in this class cannot be applied to given types. Which types? It requires a string array, but you are passing no arguments. So guys, what happened? We were able to provide a dynamic solution, smart solution, but our code is now in such a situation where it is not even getting compiled. So guys, this is the place where Virag's method will come to your rescue. And this is the reason why Virag's method was introduced. So I hope you understood the why part of Virag's method. And why part is always the critical part of any concept. Once you understand the why part, the what and how part are kind of simple. So just a tip from my side, if you are learning any new concept of any new technology, just strive to understand the why part first. Spend as much time as possible in understanding the why part. Okay, so let's move on. Since we have understood the why part now we will look into the what part. What is Virag's method? So as I said earlier, Virag's method is nothing but a method which can take variable number of arguments. That means we can call that method by passing variable number of arguments. And when I say variable number of arguments, it can be either 0 arguments or n number of arguments. Okay. So let's first understand the syntax, how to write a Virag method. So let me go into the terminal and yeah, just remember this point that regarding the Corona use case, this is our current situation. Our code is not even getting compiled. Okay. Now we will look into the syntax of Virag's method. So let me show you that code, Virag's introduction.java. And I want you to concentrate here. Here we have a data type. Along with that data type, we have three dots and we have a variable name. This particular construct is what we call a Virag parameter. And if you pass this Virag parameter within parenthesis of any method, you call that method as a Virag method. Okay, so here some method is nothing but a Virag method. So this is the syntax for defining or declaring a Virag method. Okay. Now since this is a Virag method, you can call this method by passing variable number of arguments. So if you see in the main method, I have created an object, and by using that object reference, I'm calling these methods, but I'm invoking these methods by passing variable number of arguments. This invocation is with 0 argument. This invocation is with 1 argument. This with 2. This with 3. So if for all these invocations, if this method is getting called, so this particular statement should get printed 4 times as an output. Why? Because we are calling this method for 4 times. So let's check whether our understanding is correct or not. Let me compile this code. Virag's introduction.java. Compilation is successful. Great. Let's run this code and see, we are able to get this statement Virag's method called for 4 times. Why? Because for all these invocations, this method got called. So this proves that Virag's method can be called for variable number of arguments. Okay, you can call it by passing 0 number of argument, or you can call it by passing n number of arguments. Now if you want to access each and every element or each and every argument which you are passing to this method inside this method, that is also possible. But before that, I want to tell you one important point regarding this Virag parameter. This Virag parameter is internally converted into a one-dimensional array. What I mean by this is, this Virag parameter is internally converted into one-dimensional array by the JVM. So what we have is a one-dimensional array. So can you not access each and every argument with the help of indices? Of course you can. So if you see this code, let me clear this screen. And if you see this particular Java file, we have used the same Virag parameter. That means this will be termed as a Virag method. And here, since this Virag parameter will be internally converted into one-dimensional array by the JVM, we can access each and every argument with the help of indices. So x of 0 is pointing to 10, x of 1 is pointing to 20, and x of 2 is pointing to 30. If that is the case, what would be the output in this case? 10 plus 20 plus 30, that is 60. So let's compile this code first of all, and let's see whether we are getting 60 as an output or not. Java access each element, and see, we are getting 60 as an output for this particular code. That means this particular Virag parameter is internally converted into one-dimensional array, and you can access each and every argument with the help of indices. Okay, so this was all about what is Virag's method. Now since you have understood the concept of Virag's method, now since you have understood how to use and implement Virag's method concept, Now let's see how to solve the Corona use case problem with the help of this Verax concept. So let me go into the terminal. Let me clear the screen. So let me show you the current status of our Corona use case problem. So this is the solution which we have provided as of now, and we were getting this compile time error. So the compile time error was saying that this particular method cannot be invoked without passing any arguments. Okay. Now since we have understood the concept of Verax method, we have implemented this particular solution using Verax concept, and you came up with this particular solution. And if you see closely, here instead of using string array, we have used a vararg parameter. That means this particular method will now be termed as a vararg method. Now since this is a vararg method, it can be called by passing variable number of arguments. That means we can call this method by using or by passing zero number of arguments as well. So if you see the difference, the first difference is that here instead of using array, we have used vararg parameter. And if you see the main method, we are not writing this functionality anymore in this main method. Why? Because as I said, this city's vararg parameter will be internally converted into one-dimensional array by the JVM. So whatever arguments we pass in, JVM internally puts these arguments into this city's array. So we as a developer are not required to write this functionality. So this is definitely a help to developers. Okay. Now since this is vararg method, and as per our understanding, this particular call should work for this particular method. This particular call was not working here because we were using string array. But now since we have used vararg parameter, it should work. So guys, let's keep our fingers crossed and let's compile this code. Java C intelligent solution.java, hit enter, and boom, there was no compile time error. So what happened? Since we have used a vararg method, we can call that method by passing zero number of arguments as well. So compilation is successful. Let's run this code and see, you are able to get the dynamic solution output which you were getting earlier. So this is how Verag's method helps developer to solve these kind of problems. Okay. So I hope you understood the importance of Verag's method. So this was all about an introduction to Verag's method. This is part 1 in the Verag's method series. I would be doing one more part where I would be telling you some important points regarding Verag's method. There are some gotchas which you need to take care of while dealing with Verag's method. So stay tuned for that video, or if you see the link for that video in the description below, you can check it now itself. If not, you can watch it later. Till that time, subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon to get notifications. And what else? Keep knowing more about core. Thank you.